Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Neuropedia Unlocking the Brain. In this lecture, we will study cells of the nervous system. The nervous system is composed of two main types of cells, namely neurons and glial cells. Neurons, they are also known as nerve cells and they are the primary functional units of the nervous system. They are responsible for transmitting and processing information through electrical and chemical signals. Glial cells, they are often referred to as neuroglia, and they are supportive cells that play vital roles in maintaining the health and functions of neuron. Let's study more about neurons. Neurons are the fundamental building blocks of the nervous system, responsible for transmitting and processing information through electrical and chemical signals. They come in various shapes and sizes, each with specific functions that contribute to the overall functioning of the nervous system. So these are the specialized cells. They convey sensory information to the brain. They also transmit commands from the brain to control organs and muscles. Key components of the neuron. First is the cell body. Cell body, it is the central part of the neuron. So here, this one. That contains a nucleus and other organelles. This cell body processes incoming signals that comes from another neuron and generates outgoing signals. Axon. Axon, it is a long cylinder projection that you can see in this figure. So this part is the axon, and it carries electrical impulses away from the cell body, like from here to here, towards neuron, other neuron, muscles or glands. Let's talk about dendrites. So here you can see these projections are the dendrites. These are branch-like extensions from the cell body that receive incoming signals from other neurons or sensory receptors. Axon terminals. So here these are the axon terminals. The end of the axon, they releases the neurotransmitters to communicate with other neurons or target cell. Classification of neurons. Neurons are classified on the basis of their shape, size, and function. Let's study these one by one. On the basis of shape, neurons can be classified as unipolar neuron, bipolar neuron, pseudo-unipolar neuron, multipolar neuron. Now, what is unipolar neuron? So, here as you can see in this picture, the unipolar neuron have only one nerve processes that is extending from the soma, that means the cell body, and it extends into dendrites here. So that means we can say it has only one projection. Now, bipolar neurons, so these have one axon and one dendrites, and they both extend from the opposite sides of the cell body, as you can see here. So one side is the axon and the other side we can say we have dendrites. So these bipolar neurons, they are commonly found in sensory system such as retina of eye, and the olfactory system. Pseudo-unipolar neuron. So these are pseudo-unipolar. Pseudo something means false. So these are the neurons that have a single extension. That means here you can see this. That splits into two branches. So this single process, it is splitting into two branches, and basically it is resembling a T shape. So these are involved in relaying sensory information such as touch and pain from the body to the nervous system. Lastly, we have the multipolar neuron. So multipolar neurons, these are the most common type of neurons in the human brain. They have one axon. Here you can see this is the axon, and multiple dendrites. So here these are the multiple dendrites that emerge from the cell body. Now these multipolar neurons, they are involved in variety of functions including motor control and information processing in the brain. Neurons are also classified on the basis of their size. So neurons can be small, medium or large. So we can say neurons, they can be in variety of shape and sizes, and the larger neurons, they are more complex, they cover greater distance, and they convey information more rapidly than smaller neurons. Neurons can also be classified based on their functions, reflecting their roles in transmitting and processing information within the nervous system. So we have first the sensory neuron, motor neuron, and interneurons. These sensory neurons, also called efferent neurons, so they transmit sensory information from sensory receptors such as those in the skin, eyes, nose, taste buds, etc. to the central nervous system. Sensory neurons, they are found in sensory ganglia outside the central nervous system. These sensory neurons, they can be unipolar with a single process that splits into a peripheral branch and central branch. Motor neurons, also known as efferent neurons, so they transmit signals from the CNS to the muscles and glands, controlling voluntary and involuntary movements as well as glandular secretions. Motor neurons, they are found in the central nervous system, particularly in the brainstem and spinal cord. If we talk about structure of these motor neurons, so they are typically multipolar neurons with a single axon and multiple dendrites. Let's talk about interneurons. So interneurons, they act as an intermediaries within the central nervous system, relaying and processing signals between the sensory and motor neurons and other interneurons. They are mainly found within the brain and spinal cord, and they can be multipolar, responsible for complex information processing and integration. Let's talk about glial cells. Glial cells, they are often referred to as neuroglia or simply glia, and these are the supporting cells that play vital roles in maintaining the health and function of the neurons. Types of glial cells. There are several types of glial cells with distinct functions. So in the central nervous system, we have astrocyte, ependymal cells, microglia, and oligodendrocytes. In the peripheral nervous system, we have Schwann cells and satellite cells. Let's study more about different types of glial cell. The first one is astrocyte. Astrocytes are a type of glial cell found in the central nervous system. They play a crucial role in supporting the health and function of neurons and maintaining the overall environment of the nervous system. So first, they are involved in structural support. So astrocytes, they have numerous processes that extend and interact with neurons and blood vessels. These processes help provide structural support for neurons, holding them in place and guiding their growth during development. Second is blood-brain barrier formation. So these astrocytes, they are involved in forming and maintaining the blood-brain barrier, that is a protective barrier that separates the brain's blood vessels from the brain tissue. This barrier regulates the passage of substances like nutrients and waste products between the blood and the brain to ensure a stable and controlled environment for neuronal activity. Next is regulation of neurotransmitters. These astrocytes, they are involved in regulation of neurotransmitter levels in the synaptic cleft, which is a small gap between neurons where communication occurs. They help to clear excess neurotransmitter from the synapse, preventing overstimulation of neurons. They are also involved in neurotransmitter recycling. So they take up neurotransmitters released by the neurons after signaling. They break down and recycle neurotransmitter components which can be used to synthesize new neurotransmitters. Next, they are involved in gliotransmission. So they communicate with neurons through a process called gliotransmission. They release signaling molecules that can influence neuronal activity and play a role in processes like synaptic plasticity and information processing. So overall, we can see that these astrocytes are dynamic cells with multifaceted roles in maintaining health, stability, and proper function of the central nervous system. Their interaction with neurons and other glial cells contribute to the intricate balance required for optimal nervous system function. Ependymal cells. These are another type of glial cells found within the central nervous system. They line the ventricles of the brain and the central canal of the spinal cord. They are unique in their location and functions, and they contribute to the proper functioning of the central nervous system in several ways. So first, they contribute in the production, distribution, and regulation of cerebrospinal fluid. Cerebrospinal fluid is a fluid that surrounds and cushions the brain and spinal cord. CSF provides mechanical protection, delivers nutrients and hormones to neural tissue, and helps remove waste products. Role in development. During early embryonic development, these ependymal cells contribute to the formation of the neural tube, which eventually develops into the brain and spinal cord. Response to injury. In certain circumstances, ependymal cells can become reactive in response to injury or inflammation. This reaction might involve changes in their structure and function to aid in the repair process. So these ependymal cells, with their involvement in CSF production, distribution and regulation, play an essential role in maintaining the proper environment for neural function and protecting the brain and spinal cord from mechanical damage. Microglia. Microglia are a type of glial cell that serve as the resident immune cells of the central nervous system. They play a critical role in the immune response, inflammation, and maintenance of the neural tissue. Let's study more about this microglia. So these are the immune cells. That means they are involved in defense system. So when these microglia detect potential threat such as pathogen or damaged cells, they become activated. And these activated microglia can release various signaling molecules, including cytokines and chemokines, which attract other immune cells to the site of injury or infection. They are also involved in phagocytosis. It is the process by which they engulf and digest cellular debris, dead cells, pathogens, and other foreign materials. This helps to clean up the central nervous system and promote tissue repair. They are also involved in neuroinflammation. So while microglia play a protective role, excessive or chronic activation of these microglia can lead to neuroinflammation. This inflammation can contribute to neurodegenerative diseases and other neurological disorders. Modulation of neurotransmission. These microglia can influence the neuronal activity by releasing factors that can affect synapses and neurotransmission. In certain conditions, this interaction might contribute to neurological disorders. Oligodendrocytes. These are a type of glial cells found in the central nervous system. They play a vital role in functioning of neurons by producing myelin, that is a fatty substance that insulates axons and speed up the transmission of electrical signals. So these oligodendrocytes, they are involved in myelin production. So this is one of their primary function. This myelin sheath wraps around axons of neurons in the central nervous system. Myelin acts as an insulating layer, allowing electrical signals to propagate rapidly along the axon. They are also involved in myelin sheath formation. So these oligodendrocytes extend their processes. Here you can see in this figure, creating segment of myelin sheath. This wrapping process forms multiple layers of myelin that surrounds the axon, leaving small gaps called nodes of Ranvier. Next, they are also involved in saltatory conduction. The myelin sheath created by these oligodendrocytes allow for a phenomena called saltatory conduction. This means that the action potential jumps between the nodes of Ranvier, effectively speeding up the transmission of the signal along the axon. Axon support. Oligodendrocytes provide structural support to axons by ensheathing them in myelin. This support helps maintains the integrity and health of axons. Next, they are also involved in myelin maintenance. So they maintain the myelin sheath. They can remove and replace damaged section of myelin, ensuring that the signal transmission remains efficient. Regulation of neural circuits. The presence of myelin and the role of oligodendrocytes are crucial for proper neural circuit functioning, allowing for precise and rapid communication between neurons. Demyelination and disease. So demyelination occurs when this myelin sheath is damaged or destroyed. This can lead to a disruption in the signal transmission and is a hallmark of diseases like multiple sclerosis, where the immune system attacks oligodendrocytes and myelin sheath. Now again, types of glial cells but in the peripheral nervous system. So first one is the Schwann cells. These are a type of glial cell found in the peripheral nervous system. They are similar to oligodendrocytes that are present in the central nervous system. Schwann cells play a critical role in supporting and protecting neurons. Their primary function is to produce myelin, a fatty substance that insulates axons and speeds up the transmission of electrical signals. So, their primary role is to produce the myelin sheath. Schwann cell wraps around and sheets individual axons in the peripheral nervous system to form myelin sheath. This myelin sheath acts as an insulating layer, allowing for rapid conduction of nerve impulses along the axons. They are also involved in regeneration and repair in peripheral nervous system after injury. They play a role in clearing debris, providing structural support and promoting axon regrowth. They also have supporting functions. So they provide supportive environment for axons by applying essential nutrients and growth factors. They also guide and direct axon growth during development and regeneration. Lastly, let's see what is their role in diseases and disorders. So if there is dysfunction in Schwann cells, so it can lead to various peripheral nerve disorders including Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease, etc. These conditions can result in muscle weakness, sensory loss, and other neurological symptoms. Satellite cells. These are type of glial cells that are found in peripheral nervous system, and they are specifically associated with nerve cell bodies located within sensory and autonomic ganglia. They play a unique role in supporting and maintaining the health of neuronal cell bodies. So first, they provide physical support. So these satellite cells provide physical support to the neuronal cell bodies within ganglia. They create a protective environment that helps maintain the structural integrity of the neurons. They also regulate the microenvironment. They contribute to the exchange of nutrients, waste removal, and overall chemical balance within the ganglia. Response to injury. When neurons are injured, satellite cells can become activated. They can proliferate and migrate to the site of injury to aid in the repair process and support neuronal recovery. Modulation of neuronal activity. These satellite cells may also have an influence on the function of neighboring neurons. While the exact mechanism they are still being studied, it is believed that they might play a role in modulating neuronal activity. Role in development and regeneration. These satellite cells, they are involved in development of ganglia during embryonic stages and can contribute to the neuronal regeneration after injury. Thank you for watching my video. For such more videos, like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel Neuropedia Unlocking the Brain. Thank you so much.